flexible material so that the cast is three-dimensional facsimile of the skin on the fingertip of the person from whom the mold was made. These casts may be later used as stamps on the surfaces. Photo engraving method of forgery. A photograph of a fingerprint to be forged is taken using the photograph or negative, and engraving process is used to make a three-dimensional representation of the print. This three-dimensional representation is then used to make a mold from which a cast or rubber stamp is made, which may later be used for forgery. Direct transfer method of forgery. In direct transfer method, an actual fingerprint of a person is forged without using any development techniques. A second surface is pressed against the fingerprint and the FP residue transfers to this surface. The surface bearing the transferred FP is then pressed on a third surface, which restores correct orientation of the fingerprint. No known cases of this method actually being used could be discovered. Common defects in imitated fingerprints. Ridges faint, indistinct and blurred in outline, ridges generally flattened with irregular and narrow furrows or grooves, pores not visible under magnification, certain minutiae not clear and cannot be visualized even through the lens. Ridges appear too flat or broad and very shortly defined due to abnormal pressure. Unreal appearance of the periphery, general absence of sharpness in the appearance of friction ridges. Texture of the paper may lose usual smoothness due to friction caused in the process of transferring prints. Paint marks of extreme edges of the stamp may be observed beyond the ridge area. Use of fingerprints in combating forgery. 1882, Gilbert Thompson, an American engineer building railroads in Mexico, adopted the practice of pressing his thumbprint on wage sheets for his workers to combat forgeries of signature. Third levels detail and detection of forgery. The comparison is a process where visual comparative measurements and sometimes physical comparative measurements are made between the latent and exemplar specimen prints. Third level detail, which are crucial in terms of studying forgery of fingerprints, include small shapes on the ridge, edgeoscopy, the relative location of pores, poroscopy, and the small details contained in accidental damage, deep cuts or scars to the friction ridges. The shapes are created by differential growth, random damage at the ridge unit level. Attempts to spoof live scanners with artificial fingers. Artificial fingers. Casual attackers against fingerprint systems may use an artificial finger. Artificial fingers can be easily detected by the live scanner. Artificial impressions copied by means except a person's mold have laterally reversed image. Moisture content and electric resistance of gummy fingers does not exactly match with the live fingers. In silicone fingers, it is difficult to measure electric resistance and moisture content, so it's not easy to incorporate live finger like physiological conditions in it. Transparency and bubble content of gummy fingers possess a hindrance to deceive the modern or state-of-art live scanners. Futuristic liveness detection hardware. Only in the US, many patents have been filed in the last few years concerning liveness detection in fingerprint scanners based on physiological properties. Some of the common physiological aspects incorporated in these scanners are temperature, optical properties, pulse oximetry, blood pressure, electric resistance, relative dielectric permittivity, combination, ultrasonic and field sensors, security by obscurity.